User joined your channel.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. The GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing
User was moved to your channel.
Good evening, iRacers, and welcome to the iRacing Grand Prix Series. It's 2013 Season 2, Week 5. We are at Autodrome Jose Carlos Pace. We'll just call it Interlagos for today, I think. My name is Lee Thompson, and joining me again on double duty is Dean Prescott. Evening, Dean.
Evening, Lee. Sorry.
That's all right. Good job on the Grand Am coverage there, guys. Perfect timing switching to the leader when he stuffed it into the wall coming out of turn one. I quite enjoyed that.
You're very welcome.
Right, we have around, what we are, 7-8 minutes until we're looking at race start. So plenty of time for us to have a look at the track guide, very kindly provided to us again by Foresa Ajira Racing.
Hello and welcome to Foresa Aira Track Guides. Today we are going to have a look at one of the traditional Formula 1 tracks, Interlagos. Originally the area where the track was built was planned to be just another suburb, but because of the influences of 1929 stock market crash, instead of houses, a racing circuit was built. That's why this track has a distinct surrounding. Most racing circuits are located outside of the cities, but this is in the city of Sao Paulo. The track is very interesting to drive, as it has some unique characteristics. First of all, it's run counterclockwise. It also has very dramatic elevation changes, especially in the braking area and through the first 3 corner complex, which was named after the Brazilian Formula 1 legend, Ayrton Senna. The rest of the circuit features a number of slow corners, so the car should be set up with maximum acceleration capability and with high downforce setting. In a moment, Petteri Kotovaara will demonstrate a lap for us, but let's ask him a few questions first. Pepe, what do you think is special about this track?
Special about this track is the grip level. It's very slippery and tricky to drive.
And what do you think the racing is going to be like here?
Racing will be intense as there is couple spots turn 1 and turn 3 where you have chance for overtake.
And now the lap itself.
Hello everybody and welcome on board with me, Petteri. Car is almost reaching 300 km per hour for the turn 1, where you brake very hard and rotate the first turn. Wait until you can put full throttle through the curves. It's like a little downhill chicane. Again, hit the brakes hard using the second gear for this left-hander. Going for the long right-hander, you tap the brake, pump the throttle until slow section starts. Using whole track, especially the curbs, as much as you can. First gear every time from the exits. Easy with the throttle because you can lose control if you're not paying attention. After this, right-hander going to the left, you go full speed without lifting. Oversteer in the last exit is normal at this track before getting this lap done.
Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Okay, welcome back. We're just waiting for the session to come up any moment. We've perhaps just got 30 seconds, a minute or so until we can start getting into the session. Gives us time to have a quick think about the week so far. Tommy Nilsson has been in dominant form again. He's got the overall pole position for the week with a 1 minute 12.229. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him join in this session for our strength of field race as well. He has won the 3 even split races so far we've had this week. So he has won every race that he's entered. So he's going to be looking at make that a clean sweep, 4 out of 4. So we'll see if he can get through turn 1 on the first lap and make that result again.
Most definitely. And I've been sitting actually in a few races this week, Lee. A couple of yours. You look like you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I managed to stuff up my last one, which is a shame. That's put a little bit of a bitter taste for the week. But otherwise, I've been very, very happy, really. Only my second splits, of course. But we're building iRacing. Hopefully going to get into these top splits sooner.
Yes,
right,
and,
so the session is up. We're just going to be getting in now. Looks like we've got a good showing again. We've got 23 in the second split, 24 in the top split. So only one down on the maximum grid of 25. I was watching the counter tick up. I was wondering if it was just about going to split into 3, but thankfully to give us a big grid, it's held off. Right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, unlike some weeks, I've actually done a few laps around here in the F1.
Oh, cool. So how have you found it around Interlagos, Dean?
Just like the race guide said, very slippery.
Yeah, it's been a big shock for, well, I say for everyone, I'll just talk about myself. It's been a big shock coming from Watkins Glen last week, where we have the traditional super high grip levels that really seem specific to that track for some reason in iRacing, to, as you said, the very low grip levels of Interlagos, where you've got lots of low speed acceleration getting out of that infield. And yeah, it's hard to adapt from the week before to this week.
It's also very hard to adapt to this car.
Yeah, it does take. You're right. It does take just laps and repetition just to get the timings and any kind of feeling from it. It's quite a distinctive car to drive in this service. Right. So I'm into the session, so I can run you through the grid whilst waiting for everything to load up. So we do indeed have Tommy Nilsson here in our strength of field race. So he, as I said a moment ago, has got the overall pole with a 1 minute 12.229. Second position is going to be Juha Abe, just 2/1000ths of a second behind. Marty Patella in third, just a couple of hundredths slower again. So those are 2 pro drivers in second and third position. Paulo Moya, fourth position. That's a great grid slot for him to start from and give himself a chance to get some big points. We've got Ariel Eduardo Bernardi in fifth, Robin Friskop sixth, Michel Mancusi in 7th, Jan Zalowski in 8th, Mikko Merilitu in 9th, Jonas Nikarinen 10th. Again, not quite managed to get those last couple of attempts that we keep talking about in his qualifying pace. Lasper Hansen 11th. I saw he got a good points haul, 200-point race in the last one, I believe. 12th, Christian Tanahato. 13th, Jorge Montanez. 14th, Richard Avery. 15th, Marco Goman. I think he had a bit of a stinker in the last race. 16th, Sam Kumo. 17th, Johnny Hagner. 18th, Justin Lindsay. 19th, Matt Hannigan. 20th, Frank Levick. 21st, Uros Yelenenko. 22nd, Daniel Protoza. 23rd, Oli Picala. And 24th, Alexei Eloma. So 2 cars at the back of the grid to watch for, 2 World Championship and Pro drivers who have chosen not to put in a qualifying time on the very final row. We have 50 seconds or so until we can expect the gridding up to start to begin, and hopefully we'll have our pictures coming up for you soon as well.
Yeah, I just had to turn my game down a little bit. Could hardly hear you then, but just watching a bit of practice here. I can see Marty Patella side by side with not Jan, it was Aleski. So that could be things to come, but yeah, it's a very slippery track. I could find coming out the what I would call the final turn. The back end just really wants to swap around with you, so.
Yeah, you know, coming out of turn 2, coming out of turn 12, yeah, those are the big acceleration zones on this circuit, and you're right, it's so easy to lose the rear. I mean, that was where I had my problem in the last race, lost the rear trying to come out of turn 2, and it's very easily done. Lapse of concentration, and you can be in the wall, or if not, luckily, then just in the grass. Right, everybody's starting to grid up now, so we can be ready to have our countdown just for 30 seconds or so. Turn 1, coming off a line. It's really tough for everyone to get cleanly through. We've got a big full grid of 24 cars. I'm really hoping and praying a good amount of cars are able to get through. I think everybody's been fairly well behaved for the week. I've not seen too many complaints, so fingers crossed for another patient start from everyone. No charging. I think, yeah, I hope also those 2 cars in the back try and do anything crazy, try and make up too many places in the very first corner.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting on a rolling start. I was here a few weeks ago, and I think about 2 out of my 4 races was 3 wide going into turn 1, so.
Alright, Tommy Nielsen I think was pretty much the last car on the grid there, keeping everybody waiting. I think everybody's here now, waiting for the lights to go green. Revs are building. And here we are, off on for week 5, season 2. Looks like a pretty clean start from the first goals. Or was that Marty Patella getting a little bit sideways in the background? Tommy Nielsen's going to get mugged coming into turn 1. He's on the outside as a little bit of contact between those couple of cars, I think. First half dozen rows or so look fairly cleanly through. So Paolo Moya got a great start from 4th position, but he's under pressure now already. Tommy Nielsen's looking to get that first place back. He's heading into turn 4 now, and he's got the inside line. Paolo has to give up the place, runs a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf, really easy to lose the rear there, but Tommy Nielsen managed to recover that place lost into turn 1.
Yeah, just having a quick look back at the replay. The start looks like one point was about 7 wide. Didn't even know that was humanly possible, but
and Paolo Moya under lots of pressure from Marty Patella in 3rd place. Marty Patella got the place briefly, but just lost out again, and they're all squabbling behind as well. So Juhai Arbe, Robin Friskops, Eunice Nukarin, and Eunice got a great start to come from 10th on the grid, I said he was. So there's a little bit of a bottleneck behind Paolo at the moment as Tommy Nielsen tries to escape coming onto the start-finish line. Marty Patella's going to have a great run now on Paolo Moya. Paolo has to go defensive. He stays close to the wall on the left, close to the pit lane as they head into turn 1. Is Marty going to be brave and try and stick it around the outside, heading into then turn 2? He does, late on the brakes. Both hold their lines pretty well. Oh, so close between the 2 of them, but it just about shuffles through. Marty Patella gets that place. 2 cars behind now are going to have a great run on Paolo as well. So Juhai Arbe and Robin Friskops, they're looking to make that place up into turn 4. Paolo's defensive into turn 4. Arbe looks to go around the outside whilst Friskops tries to go inside of Arbe. So Arbe now is going to lose the position to Robin Friskops perhaps. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, but it's going to be tight. Very quick now into this turn. Arbe just about holds that position with a little bit of a wiggle, but keeps it together. Great racing first couple of laps.
I'm looking at the inside of Is that Eunice?
Yeah,
It was, but Eunice
then,
has kept it.
Yeah, Eunice, then Jan, then Bernardi, then Sam Kumo. Great start from Sam Kumo as well. He was way down in the grid, up in 9th position now. So some big movers here. Eunice Nukunen and Sam Kumo seem to be the ones that stick out mostly.
Jan looking at the inside. Eunice gives him plenty of room. Gets the better run though.
Who was that just losing the rear a little bit? That was Robin Friscott losing the rear coming out of the final real corner that we have on the circuit, turn 11 I think it is. Just about managed to gather it up. Eunice, as you said, under pressure from Jan Zalowski, and cars behind as well, side by side. That's Bernardi and Richard Avery, side by side. Sam Kumo, that's side by side into turn 1. And looks like Sam just lost out there. Alright, I think this is going to be a stormer of a race. We've got little battles developing all over the place. So Sam Kumo, we've got Richard Avery, Lasse Brun Hansen, and Aleski Aloma. Oh, he's come through the field as well, all bunched together as they head into turn 4. And Lasse Brun just hangs on for now. Aloma has to slot back in.
Yeah, and I do believe that there might be no stops this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a bit of variety. I think, you know, the cars at the very front, so Tommy Nilsson for instance, perhaps we can be looking for a one-stop from them where they don't feel they're going to get caught in traffic quite so much. Those in the midfield, it's going to be worth them taking a no-stop strategy where they would really lose out, perhaps getting stuck behind slower cars. So I think we may see a bit of variety here.
Eunice goes a little bit sideways. He's actually lost that position to Jan, but Jan's gone wide.
Yeah, does well to gather it back up and not lose it on the grass. So that's going to be Sam Kumo made that place on Jan Zalowski as well. So Sam Kumo up another position. It's easy just to run in hot into that corner there and not really have anywhere to go. Right, so let's have a quick run through the field then. P1, Tommy Nilsson storming away already. Martin Teller hot on his heels in P2. Paolo Moya, P3. Juhai Arbe, 4. Robin Friscops, 5. Eunice Nikarin in 6th. Ariel Bernardi in 7th. Sam Kumo side by side with Jan Zalowski. Jan's going to go up the inside now of Sam, looking for that 8th position back. He gets it. A little bit of bottlenecking them behind as well. So Jan Zalowski back up to 8th. Sam Kumo 9th. And Richard Avery rounding up the top 10.
And just behind we have Matt and Michael Gorman. Michael's very late on the brakes. Seems to lose it a little bit. He's actually let Ollie through. Don't forget Ollie started from the back of the race. Seems to be a recurring theme here. Just had the exact same thing in the Grand Am.
Yeah, and the other driver coming from the back of the grid, the World Championship driver Alexei Loma, still hasn't managed to get past Lasse Brun Hansen yet, so he's been stuck behind him for at least a lap now. Lasse's doing a great job of holding a World Championship driver behind him. We'll see if he can do it again now into turn 1. It's going to be tough as Lasse goes defensive, tries to push Aloma around the outside, very, very close between the two of them. And Aloma's going to try and hang around the outside to get the inside now into turn 2. Just about got it, but Lasse could have a good exit now, coming out of turn 3, but I think he ended up just having to back out of it a little bit, and Aloma finally has got that position made.
Just the front again, we've got Jan looking on the inside. Ariel made it stick. So Jan's definitely back on the move again. Behind Eunice, once more we go.
Yeah, I think Jan is one of the cars that we can see perhaps doing a no-stop. He ran a no-stop in the race. I was with him on Saturday, so unless he felt that he needs a change of strategy, perhaps he's on the same again.
I was speaking to Eunice earlier on in the week, and he was struggling to find what kind of strategy he would take. Didn't know if he was within the top 10 to go for the one-stopper or to stay for the no-stop, so...
Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, last year, technically I was told that the one-stop strategy was quicker, but it really wasn't generally worth the risk. Everyone didn't want no-stop. We're only running 5 laps longer this year, so not as big a change as some of the other races. So it is still fairly borderline between the two. It's really just a matter of how the traffic plays out. One-stop is quicker, but you've got to allow for the traffic around you and how you may get caught behind. Or a no-stop car, as I watch Juhai Arbe get driven into the back of by Paolo Moya, that would have been. So... Paolo Moya there just outbraked himself a little bit going into turn 4. Hopefully there's no damage to Arbe. Let's have a quick look at Moya's car. So I think Paolo Moya got away with that as well. Not seeing any major damage on the front of his car, front wing. So I think they both got away with it there.
Yeah, can't see anything on the back of Yuhu as well.
But yeah, the leaders, Tommy Nielsen, Marty Patella, are really streaking away now from this little battle behind. So Uwe Arbe third, Robin Friscop's now up into fourth with Paolo Moya down into fifth. A nice little battle developing between those three cars. And we've got a fair gap behind. Eunice and Aquino under lots of pressure again for Jan Zalowski. So after Jan had that little error, he's gained loads and loads of ground on Eunice. And in fact, he's going to be up alongside now into turn one, I think. So Jan goes up the inside and gets the position made. Look very straightforward. There's a big speed difference, I think, between the two cars there. Jan just came from quite a long way back. Let's see if
Eunice has got the run now.
Yeah, let's see if he can get the top speed. Let's see if there's much of a difference as they head side by side now into turn four. And yeah, Jan's just about going to hold it, I think, on the inside. But yeah, Eunice had a reasonable top speed there.
Yeah, Jan looked like he had a little bit of a twitch on the exit.
Oh, just jumping back, we've got cars side by side all the way through turn four. We had 4 cars running 2 by 2. Alexia Loma now is at the front of that little group with Richard Avery behind. Ollie Picala trying to catch back up with Loma. Lassie Brun Hansen just losing out a little bit. And Michael Goman progression forward as well. So that was pretty tight between those cars through turn 4 there. We had 2 pairs of 2 running through.
So some great racing so far. Take a minute to catch your breath. There's more to come.
Yeah, already on lap 7. These are short laps, so 40 lap race that we're going to be running. One of the shorter races that we've got this season, you know, less than an hour. And it's going to fly by. Anyone who is on one-stop strategy, we're expecting to be running a long first stint just as normal, perhaps somewhere around 27, lap 27 perhaps, even as late as that, maybe even a touch later, lap 28, and we'll be interested to see how those strategies develop. I'm saying that Tommy Nielsen's definitely on a one-stop along with Marty Patel. I mean, they've just left everyone else for dead. And perhaps there's a little battle behind, Juhai Arbe, Friscops and Moya. Perhaps there's a little bit of variation in there, perhaps one or more of those running a no-stop.
Just looking at the back of this pack that we picked up just with Lassie Brun Hansen, it looked like he got a little bit boxed in just behind Michael Goman and Richard Avery.
Yeah, Michael Goman's made another place or so since I last switched back to them, and he was all over the back of Richard Avery a moment ago trying to make yet another position. So that's battling for 11th place for them two, with Ollie Picala streaking away after Alexia Loma in front. It'll be interesting to see the it'll be interesting to see the lap time now of Alexia Loma and compare that to the leaders as he crosses the line. So last lap he was getting by traffic, so it wasn't really a representative time. As he comes over the line now, let's see what we've got. So on that last lap he ran a 1 minute 14.9. Okay, I think there was perhaps still a bit of traffic that he was dealing with on that one then, because that's not lightning quick. That's the sort of pace I was running at, so that definitely shows you it wasn't particularly quick. But I guess he's perhaps on a no-stop. Whereas the leaders up front, 13.3 for Tommy Nielsen, 13.4 for Marty Patella. So that could be, again, the difference perhaps between a one-stop and a no-stop strategy maybe. But I think Alexia Loma's still got a bit more time in hand. But he's not going to get much of a clean lap. Already he's going to be catching now to Sam Kumo in 9th position just ahead. So yeah, cars all the way through.
Michael and Richard side by side again. We're coming into tight technical section. First gear, second gear.
Yeah, Richard Avery doing all lasso in the background. I think he does well to gather it all up. Just caught a little bit of Matt Hannigan behind as well. Matt had to really get out of it there, but yeah, just too quick into the corner, too much steering like Lass, and yeah, lost the rear. Didn't lose a position, no. But yeah, Michael Goman, back to him just in front. He's going to have Richard Avery now into turn 1, I think. So already he's looked to go up inside, 3 wide with the back marker there. Back marker gets out of it, luckily. Michael Goman got that position made, it looks like, on Richard Avery, unless just outbrake themselves. But Michael Goman made up another place. So he's coming through the field reasonably well now. Richard Avery's going to get a good exit now, coming out of turn 3 though. Quite different lines between them because of the manoeuvre on the entry, but Michael Goman's going to hold that place. And looking further up front, so action continuously, never a moment's rest. Sam Kumo has already been passed by Alexia Loma, so Alexia Loma up in 9th position. And next, chasing after Ariel Eduardo Bernardi.
Last is right on the back of Richard Avery.
Still very, very close between P3, 4 and 5. Juhei Arbe, Robin Friskops and Paolo Moya. Still very close between the three of them. All running mid to high 14s. So pretty strong pace from the three of them. Jan Zalowski behind though is closing the whole way. So this isn't going to be too long until this is a 4-car group. I was saying about Jan running a no-stop strategy the other day, yesterday. Perhaps he's switched up a little bit. I mean, his last lap was a 13.7, so he's running considerably quicker than the cars around him. He has got to be on a one-stop strategy, trying to do something different.
Robin just showing himself in the mirrors of Yuhu there. Yuhu taking none of it, just keeping to his line. Yuhu's been missing for a few weeks from our stream, but
yeah, now that he's got his pro license, of course, he's not necessarily committing to run all the strength of field races, but he's put qualifying times in for all, if not most, of the weeks, and he's been right up there in the sharp end. I mean, so for this week, he was second overall, just 2 1,000ths behind the overall pole sitter. So he's got the pace. Oh, Paolo Moya almost loses a rear coming out of that final corner, turn 11 I think it is. So he loses a little bit of ground to Robin Friskops behind, and that allows Jan just to grab into his draft, into his toe. So Jan now is going to be closing even quicker to join this 3-car group.
Someone who's definitely on the move is Michael Gorman. He's actually caught right onto the back of Ollie. Now we know Ollie is one of the very quick guys in this car, so...
Yeah, Sam Kumo next up to be dispatched by Ollie Picala. And yeah, Michael Gorman's doing well to stick with Ollie Picala. He's not dropped too much time away at all, so... could be some decent points for Michael if he can continue this progress, but again, we'll see if there's any difference in strategy. Ollie Picala all over the back of Sam Kumo's gearbox as they head into the infield. He's going to go up the inside already. Sam Kumo's going to have to play it safe. Hangs around the outside. Michael Gomer's going to get a great run down Sam as well. But it looks like Sam's just about would have held that place, but he ran a little bit wide. Oh, so close between him and Michael. Sam's just a little bit out of shape, trying to get his line back again. And Michael Gomer just needs to stick close until they get out of turn 12. It will be the final real corner, not turn 11, as I said a minute ago.
Definitely had to pull out of that one there, though. Looking for the switch back underneath Sam.
Yeah. Just needed to be a bit more patient. This is the corner he needed to be close behind. This was the overtaking opportunity running down the main straight. So he perhaps is going to have to wait for one more lap now.
Sam's looking an improved driver from the start of the season. Don't know if he's clicked with the setup or he's changed something in his driving style.
Yeah, he's feeling a little bit more comfortable the last couple of weeks, and I think he found himself a big chunk of time with some changes in sim settings, I think even, let alone car settings for this week. So hopefully we'll see him progressing forward still for the rest of the season. Right, Alexei Loma now has caught up with Ariel Bernardi, battling for 8th position. Half a second difference between them in lap time last time around, so we'll be looking to see Alexei get by on the start-finish straight next time by. And looking further up, Paolo Moya has lost a position to Jan Zalowski, so Paolo Moya down into 6th, Jan Zalowski up into 5th, and Robin Friskops next to be dispatched by Jan. Again, definitely a difference in strategy there. So I would say then, Arbe, Friskops, Paolo Moya all on a no-stop, the 2 leaders on a 1-stop, Jan Zalowski on a 1-stop. Still got 10 to 15 laps before pit stop's going to happen though. Jan's got a great run coming over the start-finish line. He's going to be up alongside Robin Friskops already into turn 1, and Robin plays it pretty safe, doesn't really put up too much of a fight. Another position for Jan, off to Juhei Arbe next.
Yeah, Robin looked like he was going to get the run back, but he's kept it as Jan. I would definitely agree that he's going for the 1-stop. Needs to be careful where he might bring you back out though.
Alexei Loma's got past Ariel Bernardi for 8th position, though Bernardi's right up the back of him into turn 4, but just thinks better of it, doesn't pressure too hard. So Alexei Loma now is going to be chasing after Yunus Nukarinen, but he's got quite a bit of time to make up to make his way to Yunus.
And just further back, oh, contact, Michael Gorman and Sam.
Oh, big damage from the serve and that. It's going to be a shame. They're both making good progress forward, as we said.
They were too wide coming down the out of turn 3, as the centre S's. He seems to keep it going after turn 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the replay now come through on the stream, and I said Sam on the inside into turn 4, Michael Gorman trying to go around the outside but backs out of it. And it looks like Michael Gorman's just going to cut back, is he, on Sam? And yeah, it looked on my small view I had there, I couldn't really see. It looked like maybe there was a little bit of lag contact. It looked like there was a reasonable amount of space between the two of them, but just Sam perhaps squeezing up, and yeah, Alex is confirming what I thought. Yeah, a bit of lag maybe. I think Sam had certainly left enough space for Michael there, and unfortunately the prediction code not quite able to keep up with these insane speeds of the F1 car.
One very lucky driver was Lasse though. He definitely did well to react and get out of the way. He's now picked up a few positions in P11. With Richard just behind. So let's have a look what's going on further up the field.
Well, the next bit of action is going to be Jan Zalowski and Juha Arbe, so maybe even at the end of this lap, start of the next one as they come over the start-finish line, Jan's going to be right there and thereabouts. We've seen how much of a run people have got on, from Jan coming over the start-finish line, but I don't think it's quite going to be close enough this lap. It'll be one more by. But Jan didn't get a great exit there actually, lost a fair bit of time coming out of that final corner, turn 12 I think.
Yeah, so it looks like the speeds are just starting to match up a little bit better now.
Yeah, I think it was not a great lap from Jan on that last one, so you're right. Arbe 13.7, Jan 13.9, Friskops 14.1, Moya 14.4. So yeah, I can imagine that Jan could have run a good few tenths quicker on that last lap. Let's see what was his previous lap before that. So yeah, 13.4, 13.7. So yeah, he's lost half a second maybe compared to potentially what he could do as a back marker. Gets well out of the way. Daniel Petrozic doesn't get in the way of the leaders at all there.
Gonna pull up, see what kind of gap the leader has.
Yeah,
it looks about 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, and Tommy Nilsson and Marty Pattella are easily going to have enough gap to these cars behind after they complete their pit stop. So currently they've got a 20+ second lead to Arbe in third, and a pit stop isn't going to take that much longer, and they've still got a number of laps until they're going to be pitting. So they're quite comfortably, I think, going to be making that position as I watch Jan Zalowski make that move on Juha Arbe up the inside into turn 1. So that's in his favourite overtaking position today, as he starts to chase after now the leaders who are way up in front. But yeah, just to finish that, yeah, Marty Pattella and Tommy Nilsson looking like they're going to be securing this 1-2 position with their one-stop strategy. Right, so that little battle then has just strung everyone out a little bit. So Jan Zalowski now is going to be pulling away from Arbe. Bit of a gap then behind to Friskops, bit of a gap then to Paolo Moya. Jonas Nukarinen running all on his own is 7th. Alexia Loma closing slowly, but not really making huge progress. He's in 8th position at the minute. And our next little battle then is going to be between Olli Picala and Ariel Bernardi for 9th and 10th position.
Wow, Tommy Nelson 12.9. As well as Marty, so Marty's matching him.
Be interesting to see if they come in on exactly the same lap. I mean, just 1 or 2 laps different is going to either bring Marty Pattella right on top of Tommy Nilsson or drop him off and secure the win for Tommy. So be interesting to see if they've just managed to squeeze an extra lap out or not. Again, we've got about 10 laps probably until they're going to be pitting, I would think.
Yeah, it looks like Jan now has some clean air. So he's going to be setting his sights forward. Probably take Juhu with him. And see if things have died off.
Yeah, with a little bit of action that we had a couple of laps ago between Sam and Michael Goman, it's just strung out that back of the top 10 a little bit as well now. So as you say, everyone's just strung out. So really, it's going to be us just waiting for how the strategy plays out and hoping we get some more great racing like we have in this first half. Compared to Watkins, Dean, this has been a fantastic race.
Definitely has been a fantastic start. Looks like we've got Ollie actually making a little bit of a headway towards Ariel.
Yeah, half a second quicker that last time by. So again, he may get a good run now coming out of turn 12 onto the main straight, or a continuous turn to it. So he isn't able to close enough then on this lap, so he's going to be, next opportunity is going to be turn 4, so if he can get a good clean run coming out of turn 2 here, which it looks like he could well do, a little bit of a difference in line between the two of them, but if Ollie can get the power down, he could be right back on top of Ariel again by the end of this straight.
Ariel a little bit sideways actually at turn 1-2. Definitely allowed Ollie to catch up to his gearbox. Ollie a little bit squirrely.
So just having a quick glance at who we've got missing from the field after incidents that we may or may not have seen. Sam Kuma and Michael Goman look like the two most recent cars to be out of the race. Justin Lindsay, Boris Yelenenko, Christian Tanahato and Mika Imura are all out of the race as well. I don't think we really saw any of those incidents unfortunately on the stream, or I haven't seen them anyway.
I think Justin was started the race actually. He went very wide to dodge everything, and Montanez.
Sorry, Dean. Ollie Picala now, turn 1, round the outside of Ariel Bernardi. How much of a fight was Bernardi going to put up? The answer is quite a bit. He tries to stick to the inside there, cuts all the way across the curb, drifts out a little bit wide. Very, very close between the two of them. They just about allow enough space. Still side by side. Ollie Picala is going to struggle just to get the power down a little bit, but he's still side by side. He's going to get the move done now, I think, as they head into turn 4. Bernardi just thinks about slotting in, but now goes back to the inside, brakes as late as he can, but Ollie Picana finally does get that move done. So side by side between the two of them, they're all the way up until turn 4 practically.
Yeah, sorry, Justin, I think it was turn 1, he went very wide at the start to avoid it, and Montanez just caught him. But yeah, it was a great move by Ollie. Great racing from Ariel as well. Still looking very racy.
I was thinking it was going to end in tears there as they kept darting back towards each other and back away again, but they just about managed to judge it perfectly. Right, quick run through the top 10 as we're on lap 21 now. Tommy Nilsson, P1. Marty Patella just a couple of seconds behind. As you said earlier on, Dean, they're matching each other lap for lap on time really. So P1 Tommy Nilsson, P2 Marty Patella. P3 then is going to be Jan Zalowski. He's made a little bit of a gap to Juha Arbe behind, so he's able just to pull away a little bit. Arbe in 4th, Friskops in 5th, Paolo Moyer in 6th, 7th then is Jonas Nukarinen all on his own, getting very lonely I think. P8 Alexia Loma, P9 Ollie Picala now pulling away, making that gap on Ariel Bernardi behind in 10th. And Lasper and Hansen's got a great run on Bernardi here. Has Bernardi got a bit of damage maybe? Lassie's going to come up the inside into turn 4. Runs a little bit deep though, contact between the two of them. Richard Avery behind as well. I think they're all just about going to get away with it. So that's a little bit of action there. Ariel Bernardi just holding on to that place for now. I missed his entrance into that last straight, but it was so slow down the last straight. He must have had a real problem going through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, and he's got a bit of front wing damage there, I think, as Ariel Bernardi there. So he is just going to be struggling a bit with top speed on the main straights, so Lasper and Hansen and Richard Avery can be expecting to make that position at any moment.
Also, Jan will be very disappointed. Connection's just given up the ghost.
Oh, that's a real shame for Jan. Disconnect for him. I was seeing him flickering a little bit when I was trying to run through the top 10 as he disappeared and reappeared, but as I say, it looks like that's him done now.
Here we go again, battling for P10. I'll say holding the outside this time with Richard.
Yeah, and they've really dropped off the back of Bernardi again on that last lap, so yeah, Lasper and Hansen is the one under pressure from Avery. Let's see if Avery tries to dart up the inside here in turn 4, but no, just plays it safe, brakes quite early. So the big question mark then is who is going to be pitting when? Marty Patel or Tommy Nilsson? This is the real battle in strategy between the two of them. Who's saved the fuel? Who's got the fuel consumption right? And if one of them can just make an extra lap run on this low fuel, that could easily make the difference for who's going to come first or second.
Dare I say this, but Marty's starting to pull that gap back in. 1.8 last time round. Marty's going for the charge, using every inch of the track. So I was saying a few weeks ago that some tracks will completely ruin your lap if you give it an inch. Well, this track you can use quite a bit of the curbs here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, especially on the infield. You know, there's you can really make a lot of use of those curbs. As you say, take quite an inside line. They're quite low curbs mostly. So yeah, clashing over the curbs is really the order of the day here.
In fact, here you go, Marty's just jumped in.
So Tommy Nilsson then looks like he's secured the win if he can just keep it tidy. So Marty Patel pits on lap 24, a little bit on the early side, maybe first person we've seen to pit. So Tommy Nilsson just needs to keep banging in the laps, and he's got the win secured. It's a shame. I was hoping it was going to be the other way and just close up the two of them slightly. Aero Bernardi still defending from Lasper Hansen and Richard Avery. I was thinking that they were going to be getting by already, but they're still stuck behind, still trying to get into that 9th position.
And there you go, there's confirmation that Marty's stayed in front of you here.
Yeah, quite comfortably as well. Good, what, 3-4 seconds at least. So that's worked out nicely for Marty. And of course, he's going to be a little bit quicker for the remainder of the race with on the same fuel load, of course, but just with those fresher tyres now and able to push up a little bit harder. So who else am I thinking might be doing a one-stop for the rest of the field? So we've got Arve, Friskops, Moya. They've all got to be on a no-stop really. And I'm not seeing anyone else that stands out as being on a one-stop strategy. I think it's just Tommy Nilsson, who I believe is in the pits now. And yeah, so he just comes to a stop in his pit stall as Tommy Nilsson. So assuming he's had a good in-lap and hits marks, he's going to comfortably through.
Just coming through actually to start finish. He's definitely done enough. Got a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, Tommy Nilsson clears the back marker coming out the pit lane. So position 1 held. How much further back is Marty Patella now? Yeah, he's lost out a good few seconds to pitting just that, what, 1 lap earlier. So there's a little bit of a shame that we lost Jan as well, because he was our other little bit of variety in strategy that I was expecting to be doing a one-stop. So otherwise, everybody else is fairly well strung out still, and I'm not really seeing any differences in strategy that's going to change things up much. Our battle really is between 9th, 10th and 11th. Bernardi still keeping a little bit of a gap to Lasper Hansen in 10th, and Richard Avery in 11th. These are our 3 closest cars on track at the minute. And we've got just 15 laps remaining.
Yeah, just between those 3 it's actually about 1.5 seconds, so that's all 3 of them. Go ahead, Lee. Let's take an on board.
Yeah, so we're going to join on board now with Lasper Hansen as he keeps chasing down Aero Bernardi. So coming into turn 1 over the start-finish line, run out to the right here, hard on the brakes, down into first gear. The rear just want to step out away from you, as you saw with Aero Bernardi there in front. Run over both the curbs on the right and on the left, coming out of turn 3 now. Hard on the power, letting the car run out wide to the curb on the outside. Turn 4, going to brake just at the marker here on the right, down into 3rd or 2nd gear. Try not to run over the curb on the outside. That AstroTurf just loosened the car up as we saw from Lassie there. And in fact, we're going to think about this onboard lap in a couple of minutes since you've not quite got the pictures, so we'll come back to this in a little while. But yeah, Lasseter and Hansen has closed a lot on Ariel Bernardi as they've come to that last little bit of the lap, as Ariel had, I think, a scruffy turn 1.
Yeah, I think I'll carry on sitting on board with Lass. It's very close. I do believe we've now got the pictures, so
yeah, so we'll try
again.
So here we go, coming over towards the start finish line, last little kink now before we reach the line, all the crowds, all the grandstands on the right. Lassie has got closer and closer to Ariel Bernardi here, so turn 1, run over the white line on the right here, hard on the brakes, the rear is going to want to step out from you, and again Bernardi we see sliding, does lose the rear, over the curb on the right and on the left, hard on the power, try and let the car run out to the outside curb here. Lassie's going to get a great run on Bernardi here coming into turn 4, so they both try and use the slipstream of the back marker. Turn 4, down into 3rd or 2nd gear, run over the curb on the left but avoid the curb on the right, and again just flat all the way now into turn 6, down just a couple of gears, just let the engine do the slowing down, run over the curb on the right just here as well, hard on the power, and then all the way down into 1st gear. See how close they get, run completely over the curb on the right, take a little bit of the curb on the left, not quite so much, and again the rear trying to step out from you as you go round, hard on the brakes again, down into 1st, cut the curb again on the right, almost the whole car over, and then again hard but ever so carefully on the power to get through this next corner. Turn 12, down into 1st gear again, cut the curb on the left, avoid the curb on the right as much as possible, and it's just going to be hard on the power, flat all the way now through these last little kinks, not really corners, and that brings us back to the start finish line. So we had good examples of what you were telling us, Dean, about those low curbs and cutting across, and pretty much every apex you want to be getting over the curbs. The only thing to be careful with is the curbs on the exit generally. There's a couple of times where there's a little bit of AstroTurf just on the outside of that curb, and if you get a wheel on that, you easily can be spinning the car around.
And I'm also glad to see that it's not just me losing the rear ends in the same places.
Yeah, turn 1 is the trickiest corner on the circuit by quite a way.
Oh! Lass has got the run. Ariel lost it actually through turn 4.
Yeah, so Ariel done a good job of holding on that position for so long with that damage that we think he's got, but finally he's made that little error that's allowed Lass through. We'll see if Lass can break away at all now. But yeah, I was just saying that turn 1, I mean really, I imagine for most people, certainly and Ariel again loses a rear. Richard Avery now is going to be up alongside as they head towards turn 12, but he just about holds on to that position for now. I'll see if I can finish my little thought. Turn 1, your whole setup really is about getting turn 1 right. If you can get the balance into turn 1 as the track drops away from you quite heavily as you're trying to slow down, that really is going to dictate then your car setup for the whole rest of the track if you can get that one corner right.
Certainly is. So I'm still on board with Ariel. He seems to be doing a little bit of short shifting. I don't know if that's simply to hold the rear end, or is it just...
Yeah, probably just trying to help himself get out those corners, maybe especially with the little bit of damage that we think he's got. It's made the car a bit more unstable maybe, so perhaps that's him just trying to keep it under control. Right, so a quick run through the standings again as Tommy Nielsen crosses the start-finish line to begin lap 30, 10 laps remaining. Tommy Nielsen P1, Marty Patella P2, and what are their lap times looking like between the two of them? 13.1 for Tommy Nielsen, 13.2 for Marty Patella, so Marty's not able to close or gain at all. So looking like Tommy Nielsen has got his 4th win from 4 attempts locked in for the week. P3, Juhei Arbe running 3 or 4 attempts slower. P4, Robin Friscops. P5 then is going to be Paolo Moya. He's dropped off a little bit of the cars in front. Yunus Nukarunen, P6, strong showing, maybe not his strongest track that we've seen for the season. Alexei Loma, P7. Alexei Loma not really closed much on Yunus. I think he may get a sniff at him by the end of the race, perhaps. Ollie Picala, P8. Lasper and Hansen, as we've been watching, P9. Ariel Bernardi, P10. Richard Avery, 11th. Let's keep going through. Who else we got? Matt Hannigan, 12th. 13th, Jorge Montanez. 14th, Yoni Hagner. Not seen anything of him at all this race. P15, Michel Mancusi, allowing the leaders through. And that's going to be, there we go, P16, Frank Levick, and P17, Daniel Petroza. Daniel Petroza is the last running car, I believe. So really then, our battle still to focus on is Lasper and Hansen, Errol Bernardi and Richard Avery. It's Avery the one looking to make a move now, I think. Richard Avery may be, I can't imagine taking too many risks. I think he's fairly new to running in the season, in the series this season. So I can't imagine he's going to want to make too many enemies by making any dive bombs, going crazy too much. But he's very, very quick to be running these top splits, running just outside of the top 10.
Sorry I'm being so quiet, I'm just trying to catch up on some eating. Double headers made me very hungry. Well, yeah, Richard's looks like he's happy where he is.
And also, of course, with him seeing how much Bernardi has been struggling with the rear of the car, then you can afford just to be patient and keep the pressure on. And hopefully he's going to make another mistake to allow him to slip by, just as Lasper and Hansen found.
So this late in the race, you do realise your rears are getting a little bit worn. Is there anything in the car that you could change, Lee, to try and help it?
Yeah, I mean, for these guys running the top splits, I can imagine that they could well be making a fair few in-car adjustments as they're driving, differences in diffs and brake balance, that sort of stuff. But really, it's not something that somebody like myself, running in the second splits, should really concern themselves with too much. If you're running a second or more off the pace, then you need to concentrate on your own driving and figure out where that time is, rather than making those delicate little adjustments. But certainly for the guys running sharp in here, as Bernardi again loses a rear in turn 1, they could well be trying to find those little tweaks to try and keep the car in check. Errol Bernardi goes way over to the far left edge of the circuit there, just trying to break the toe perhaps from Richard Avery, because he had quite a lot of space to him.
Again, you can see Richard, he's not really that fussed about getting this position. It would mean a top 10 finish though. So maybe he's just biding his time, maybe he's wondering if Bernardi would lose the rear again. Meanwhile, Lassie is starting to pull a little bit of a gap. 1/10 quicker.
Right, so just as we're coming into the last sort of 7 laps or so of the race, let's have a quick think about how the drivers at the sharp end of our Road to Pro are doing in this race compared to their standings. So as of the end of last week at Watkins Glen, week 4, our standings for the Road to Pro, so the A-class drivers battling to get into the Pro Series in Season 4. Robin Friskops was in first position, so he's running pretty strongly then. What's he in 4th at the minute? Jonas Nikarinen second, 6th for him. Running reasonably well, not going to be a massive haul of points I don't think for Jonas in this race. P3, Errol Bernardi, again he's a little way down in, so not great points for him. Marco Goman, 4th, he's out. Mikko Mirilutu, 5th, he's out. Jan Zelowski, 6th, he's disconnected, so 4th, 5th and 6th all having a bad race. Tommy Nilsson, 5th, he's a week behind, he's got a week in hand, so he's going to be making massive leaps up the standings again after this race. Jorge Montanez, he's way down at the minute, he's what we're at 13th, so again no real points for him. Paolo Moya is going to get a good fistful of points, so 9th position in the standings, currently running in 5th. Mohammed Patel, he isn't here, so 10th place in the standings at the end of this week. So that's good then. So looking at those top 10 positions, we're only missing 1 from our strength of field race, which is Mohammed Patel. Every other single driver is in our broadcaster strength of field race. That's good to see. It gives us a real representation as to who is going to be getting those pro spots.
Yeah, so we're pretty much halfway through this now. Halfway through the season, I should say.
Okay, good. I was going to say, how many laps do you think we're doing? We're a lot further than halfway, but yeah. So what, we're at week 5, 12-week season, 4 drop weeks, sorry, for the guys. So yeah, 8 races, their 8 best results 8 best weeks are going to count for their standings in the Road to Pro. So they need to not be taking too many more drops now. You know, they need to have good results.
Just having a look, see if there's any other little battles going on, but there's not much happening. Who's still sitting in third.
Yeah.
He's possibly the fastest guy on the track at the minute, is Marty Patella.
Yeah, Alexei Loma hasn't really been able to make a huge amount of time on Yunus Nukarinin in front. So on the last lap, 13.9 from Nukarinin, 13.5 for Alexei Loma. So there's a good, 5 seconds or so between the two of them. Maybe 4.5. And with just 4 or 5 laps remaining now, that's not quite going to be enough for Alexei to make that position unless there's a real error from Yunus ahead of him. Otherwise, you know, our only other sniff of the battle still is, as we've been saying, Errol Bernardi, Richard Avery. You know, Bernardi just needs to keep it together, and as you said, Richard seems like he's fairly happy sitting in that position. But Bernardi's been struggling a little bit with the control in the second half of the race, so there's potential opportunity there still. But otherwise, I think that's going to be about it.
We could be wrong, we could see the Richard getting a little bit racy. Maybe he's soon realised that the back end of that car's not going to come out as easy as it was. Definitely putting a bit more pressure on. Definitely closer than what I've seen him. And there you go, actually. Bernardi runs wide. Richard's through. You'll have to be defensive here though into turn 1.
Yeah, I think Bernardi will be quite aggressive trying to get that position back again. He knows that Richard's been playing it safe, so how late on the brakes are they going to be? Bernardi tries to hang around the outside, got a good line now into turn 2, side by side. Bernardi's just had to give up that position at the end there. He may get a bit of a run back on Richard Avery. So closing all the way down the straight into turn 4 there, but it's not going to be enough. Be interesting to see now what pace Richard has got and if he can break away.
Definitely looks like he has done. Let's have a look what gap is there. It's not quite updated yet. But there's a gap ahead of these to, let's say, is 3.6. So Lasso is definitely pulled away, but you can see there Rich is definitely pulling away. Again, it looks like Bernardi's had a half spin. Yeah, he's definitely trying to get the power back on. One thing I did find with that last corner is if you use the rumble strip on the right hand side, it tends to lock the front up, and you do tend to miss your braking point a little bit.
Yeah, it can do. I mean, that is really the line. You know, depending on the driver, they could get all 4 wheels onto that outside, they said, rumble strip on the entry there, and that can be their line that they take every single lap. Yeah, use all 3 curbs there really. Cut the inside on as well. Use a tiny bit of the exit curve. That's the one to be careful of, really getting the power on coming out. But yeah, you really can use all of the track and more here at Interlagos. The track boundaries are fairly flexible, which, to be honest, is absolutely right within iRacing, because if you watch them in real life, they do absolutely cut the corners in exactly the same places that iRacing allows us to do. Especially one of the particular corners on the infield, which is let's have a quick think, turn 8 especially, which is really the first of the tighter types of corners. If you watch them in real life, they just ignore the curve completely and jump straight across it, practically on the grass, and it's completely acceptable and completely allowed. Just one of those quirks of the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. As watching you who do the exact same line. Just over and flick up the field. Marty's still pushing. So it looks like he's trying to respond, but he's definitely got that gap of Around about 3 seconds, Tommy.
Right, Dean, we've got another little battle, I think. Yunus Nukarinen has lost a little bit of time in the last couple of laps to Alexei Aloma, so Alexei is going to be right on the very back of Yunus by the time they complete the final lap. Just a couple of laps away now. He's made up a good extra couple of seconds on top of what he was gaining lap by lap, so he's now got the draft, he's got the toe as they come up this main straight. We'll see the lap times on this lap. I think this lap was quite a slow one from Yunus, or maybe it was the one prior. So as Yunus crosses the start-finish line, 13.9, 13.1 from Alexei Aloma. Okay, so it was a particularly fast lap from Alexei, rather than a particularly slow lap, I would say, from Yunus Nukarinen. So Aloma sniffs that extra position, that 6th place. He's just a couple of seconds back now.
Still with lap 39's got this and one more lap remaining. Our gap is, P7?
Yeah, about a second, I think.
Yeah, 1.1.
7-8 tenths on that last lap. So if he can keep that pressure up, then he's got a very good chance.
And just in that lap as well, Bernardi has lost 2.5 seconds on Richard. So it shows just trying to get the power in a little bit earlier can actually send you backwards.
Right, so it looks like Yunus got quite a good exit coming out of turn 12 there. Didn't really struggle with the rear at all, just needs to keep it safe. Doesn't look like he lost as much time on that lap as the previous one. So again, let's see their lap times. It was a 13.9 last time around for Yunus, 13.7 this time, and a 13.3 for Aloma. So Yunus was a couple of tenths quicker, Aloma was a couple of tenths slower. The last opportunity now for Aloma. Right, leaders, they've got to be coming around to finish up pretty soon. Where's Tommy Nilsson? He is halfway through the lap, so another 30 seconds or so.
The gap actually from Yunus is 0.6.
I'll leave you to keep an eye on them to give me a shout if anything interesting happens, Dean. As Tommy Nilsson now comes out of turn 12. Win 4 from 4 this week. Overall pole position, 4 wins in the split races. Going to be surely the highest point scorer, obviously, then for the week. And he looks delighted, and quite rightly so. Martin Patilla didn't finish that far behind in the end, just a couple of seconds back in P2. P3 then is going to be Juha Abe coming over the start-finish line now. It's going to be some big points for him. Not that he needs it, of course, pro driver. Robin Friskops, 4th. That's going to help his chances for top pro position. P5, Paolo Moya. P6 is going to be Yunus Nukarinen here, with Aloma not quite able to close enough in that last lap. So 6th for Yunus Nukarinen, 7th for Alexei Aloma coming from the very back of the grid, and Olli Pikala in 8th. So 7th and 8th for the two cars who started on the very back row. Lasper Hansen takes to the scenery and goes for a little bit of exploration around the streets of Interlagos on the final lap, but he looks like he's going to come home safely in 9th. Oh, as there's a little bit of a glitch on my screen, or if he hit the wall there, but I think he's okay. P9, all good. P10, Richard Avery. P11, Ariel Eduardo Bernardi. And everyone else then, Matt Hannigan still on the lead lap, so he's coming over for 12th. And everyone else then is a lap down and has already crossed the line.
Yeah, definitely again a more entertaining race at the start, which is quite obvious really. We had some good battles in the middle, and then it died off, and we saw the accident between Sam and Michael Goldman.
Yeah, I said we almost had too much action at the start, didn't we? We didn't know where to look and where to keep up with, so just needed to spread it out a little bit more and give us a little bit more of a chance to figure out what we were doing. But it's all worked out well. Right, so in a couple of moments we're going to be having interviews with the drivers. I can see the top 2 finishers lined up and ready for their interviews whenever we are. So before that, quick thanks to our sponsors as normal. So GT Omega Racing, providing the main sponsorship for the ARL, Apex Racing UK and ARL TV, long-term sponsors. Thanks also to AC Sim. We want to be keeping your eye out for new products coming out from him imminently, I believe. Also Sim Garage, button boxes and other electrical equipment. And don't forget, of course, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and all of those normal places to get in touch with ARL TV. Right, we're going to have a quick advert break, and then we'll be back with the driver interviews.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatic, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Okay, so welcome back. As I said, it's going to be time for us to have a quick word with the drivers, and I think we're going to go in order. So we'll speak to our race winner, Tommy Nilsson, first of all. Good evening, Tommy. Congratulations on a dominant week. 4 wins from 4 starts. That was a strong showing. You dominant display, as I said.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome week, and I got the setup nailed pretty fast in the first year or something, so I could relax. And I think this track suited me a little bit better than Watkins Glen.
How much of a shock did you find it coming from Watkins with the super high grip levels that we have here to the very slippery surface of Interlagos?
It's a little bit better for me because I like a track that is very demanding for the driver. And I think Watkins Glen was a little bit too easy for me to be able to be as fast as Marty.
And then you're talking about Marty there. I mean, really, that was a hot lapping session between you and Marty as to who could bang those laps in. Were you expecting him to be able to stay out as long as you, or even go a lap longer, or were you expecting him to pit that a lap earlier?
I was expecting him to be pitting a lap earlier or a lap later. I wasn't really sure. I just thought it would be +-1 or exactly the same.
So yeah, you must have been very happy then when he did make his pit stop and saw that that really meant you just had to keep a clean second half of the race, and you were sorted. A little bit of action for you at the start, having to dispatch Paolo Moya, who got a great start off the line. But otherwise then, say just a hot lapping session for you.
Yeah, I was really nervous after turn 1 because I made a little bit contact with him with my front wing. So I wasn't really sure if my car was damaged, but after 1 lap, and when I could see that I was driving very fast, and I thought I don't have any damage, so that was really nervous first lap for me.
And so Suzuka next week then, Tommy. How do you feel about that track? Another driver's track again, somewhere where you can really, the driver can make a lot more of a difference again, you think?
I really don't know, but I think a driver can make a little bit more difference in Suzuka than in Watkins Glen. So I'm looking forward to that track.
Good, well we look forward to seeing you again, Tommy. Congratulations again on overall pole for the week and for dispatching all other contenders in every race that you've seen. So good luck to you for trying to repeat the same next week.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so next up then, going to be Marty Patella. So finishing in that second position, just 2.7 seconds over the line behind Tommy Nilsson. So, good evening, Marty. Congratulations on your podium result again. Banging those in quite consistently. Weren't able to run as long a stint as Tommy Nilsson.
Yeah, couldn't run as long and couldn't run as fast. I had 40 laps time to think about excuses of why I was so slow today, but couldn't. There isn't any, except myself.
I think a good excuse is that Tommy Nilsson was very, very quick. I mean, he's got the overall pole for the week and has won all 4 of his races, so it was going to be tough to run much quicker. You had a little bit of action at the start, trying to get by Paolo Moya after he jumped you and Tommy Nilsson at the start.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting start. I thought I went good off the line, but then Paolo just flew past and ruined my plan for turns 1 and 2. But I got through in the end, but Tommy was so far away and I just couldn't keep up, so that the race was really pretty much over at that point.
So for the World Championship Series then, Marty, you're going to be running at Virginia Raceway next week. Are you, I guess you're not really going to be looking forward to that?
Exactly. That track is just something different.
Well, on the plus side for us, it allows hopefully at least the pro drivers to get a sniff where we're maybe expecting a turnout not to be so great. So it'd be interesting to see how those potential World Championship drivers in the future can compete, just as we've seen in the last couple of rounds. Next week for us it's going to be Suzuka. Are you expecting to run there, or is all your focus going to have to be at Virginia?
No, if I focus to Virginia, then I'm not going to survive. I think Suzuka is going to be just a nice, good track to balance things out a bit.
Okay, good. Well, we look forward to seeing you again then at Suzuka next week, Marty. Thank you again as normal for the track guide that we showed at the beginning of our stream, and congratulations again on your second place finish.
Thanks. See you hopefully in a week.
Thank you, Marty. Good luck at Virginia as well.
Thanks.
Right, guys, so that just looks like all that we have today for driver interviews. So congratulations again to the podium, Tommy Nielsen, Marty Patella and Yuhei Abe rounding out the podium positions. Tommy Nielsen really showing himself a class above. I mean, that second and third positions, of course, are pro drivers. The next A-class driver was Robin Friscops down in 4th, and he finished 16.5 seconds back, Dean. Yeah, absolutely. So Tommy is really showing his worth and why he should be gaining that pro license. So that's going to be rounding out our stream then. Extra long stream, of course, tonight with the Grand Dam coverage that we had at the beginning as well. The Grand Dam next week, Dean, is at Laguna Seca. Are you expecting to be running there next week?
I should be running next week. I've been doing a little bit of testing last night, so...
Okay, good. I look forward to swiping one of your setups so that when I have a little play myself. The iRacing Grand Prix Series, as you heard, is going to be at Suzuka Grand Prix Circuit. So again, that's going to be hopefully a cork of a race. I'm thinking it's going to be something like Interlagos, where we're going to see a good bit of action at the start. And we shall see all of you next week for the streams on Sunday. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.